Hello! Today I want to guide you through the process of using Microsoft Access to intervene on students that perhaps need it. So let's get going. The first thing we want to do is provide justification for why we're moving away from the paper copy. We are doing this because the paper copy was a good form at keeping track of failing students, documenting what we did for students that failed. However, we want to be able to provide immediate feedback to other teachers, other educators that may be working with a student. We want this to be digital, we want it to be live, and we want it to be available to all staff working with that student. There won't be any paperwork at the end of the semester if we use the Access document, but if we don't use Access to document our interventions during the semester, then yes, we will ask you to provide some sort of paper feedback, some sort of paper documentation of why the student received the F, what interventions were taken. Teachers have the ability to collaborate during PLC, over email, etc. So if I have little Johnny not doing well in algebra, I might open his Access intervention form and see what maybe his science teacher has done, and if that's worked. And if it hasn't, I want to document my own interventions, and at least there's a paper trail for us without the actual paper. And there's not the rush at the end of the semester to complete all my academic intervention forms because they'll already be there on the Access form. So there's our justification. The next thing is locating the Access form. At this point, you should see the PowerPoint slip off to the right of your screen and what I'm doing on my own computer off to the left, so that I'm going to work through this as you take a look at the PowerPoint, and both will be running at the same time so you can see the PowerPoint, the steps I'm taking, and what I'm doing on my own computer. First thing you want to do is open the ODrive on your computer, however you decide to do this. You want to scroll down to find West High School staff. You'll notice on my computer it's these big folders. Some of you guys have them listed a little bit more clearly, so they're little folders so that you can access it easier. West High Staff is the folder you're looking for. Once you get there, you double click on West High School Staff. Open the very first folder. It's listed at the top as Academic Proficiency and Intervention. Double click on the Access file West High Interventions 2012-2013. So once you've opened that Access document, here's what you should see. You should see an Access file that starts with our very first student. Okay? Or the last student that was worked on, depending on how it was saved. The first thing you're going to see is teachers. Double click here. Okay, to find your student, you want to click on the binoculars. But before you do that, make sure that the cursor is placed in the last name field. Otherwise, it's going to search by the criteria of the cursor wherever the cursor happens to be. So you need to place the cursor in the last name field, then click on the binoculars. So once you have your student, you check the boxes that you did to intervene. Maybe I put them in a different seat. Maybe I modified their classwork. Perhaps I've called the student. Maybe I've talked to the principals or the counselor about this, so on and so forth. I just want to check those boxes, and at the very end, on the bottom, you'll see this little note box. Make sure you note the date, your last name, and the interventions or steps that you took that weren't necessarily in the checkbox, or little random notes like this worked, this did not work, how it worked, did it work to a certain extent, so on and so forth. Maybe you've collaborated in your PLC, maybe you've emailed other teachers. All those things are great. We need to know that stuff. Try to leave a space between the first intervention and the next intervention. And there's no easy way to do that. If you push enter, it goes to a different box. The formatting on Access isn't perfect, however, it's what we have to work with. So just keep spacing over until you get to a place where you can go to the next line. So that's how you use Access. Once you're done, it's very important to remember that you need to save using the little save disk on the top. It's on the top left right by the little Access form. That's how I want you to save. Don't save any other way because it'll save another document out there on the ODrive, and nobody else will be able to access that or interact with your information. If there's multiple people that have Access open, this is one of the best features of Access. If there's multiple people that have it open, it's okay. You won't necessarily be able to see their work until they push the little blue disk and save it. You have to save your own work and then reopen Access. And then your work plus whoever else's work that was open at the same time, you can see. And you can interact with it. So it opens. You can have multiple forms of Access open at the same time and still work with that information. If and when we call parents, please list the number that you contacted the parents by. Too often we're seeing on our intervention forms called left message or called no answer. That's really not an intervention. It's an attempt at an intervention, but it's not an intervention. So we need to be in contact with these parents. So the best phone number or email address that you've found for these parents is what we want. We want contact with these parents. That's a huge, huge intervention that we can do. So please, if you see a number there and you call and it's disconnected or nobody answers, if you know of another contact number or email address or whatever that you have had success getting a hold of these parents, that's what we want there. And if it's 2 or more, that's great. List them both. That pretty much takes us through the tutorial. I know there's going to be tons of questions. There always is when we change to a new system. I truly believe that this is going to be very helpful for not only our staff but our students in intervening and collaborating with the information that we have, and hopefully we use this for years to come. If you have any questions, always you can email me. We can start a discussion on Canvas. We can talk in PLC. Going forward, I really hope this helps our students. Thank you.